Hello, 7th graders. Sorry that I can't be here with you today. It looks like I will probably be there tomorrow, hopefully. We'll see how things go. Okay, so hopefully the sub gave you this yellow cardstock sheet, and you could put this in your page protector. I would recommend having one side of your whiteboard be that pink cardstock page that we did in the last unit, and then one side be this yellow page, because we are going to be using both sides in this unit. The pink one that we created in the last unit and this yellow one. Now in the top left corner, this should look familiar. This is the table that you created in your notes yesterday. And it's just a really good resource to have when you are graphing inequalities. Okay, so let's start with some basic inequalities to graph. We're going to get some graphing practice today. So on your whiteboard, and I'm kind of at a disadvantage because I can't seem to zoom out far enough for you to see the table and the number line, but we'll do the best we can. So let's go ahead and graph m is less than -6. Well, first of all, it's the less than symbol is right here, and that's an open circle. So I'm going to put an open circle right here at -6. And then this says that m is less than -6. So we're going to shade in everything that is less than -6 like this. Okay. Now, to be sure that you've shaded the correct side, I would pick one of those numbers that you shaded. And let's see, let's try, we would say that -9 is one of the numbers in the solution set. So I would put -9 in for m here. And I would say, is -9 less than -6? Yeah, it is. Okay, you owe somebody $9 or you owe somebody $6. This is more in debt, right? Okay, so that's one example. Let's practice a couple more and then I'll have you do some. Oh, my eraser is not so good. I have a feeling my whiteboard's gonna get pretty messy. Okay, let's try this one. N is greater than or equal to 0. So the circle, either open or closed, always goes on the number here. And the number here is 0. And because this is greater than or equal to, it's a closed circle. So I'm going to put a closed circle on 0. Now, remember too, the closed circle means that 0 could be a solution because this is everything greater than or equal to 0. And since 0 could be a solution, we want to shade it in so that we know that. And then this is n is greater than or equal to 0. So since n is greater, we're going to shade everything that's greater. And you don't have to shade forever. Just put a little arrow there to show that it keeps going. Here's another hint. When your variable is on the left side like this, see how the inequality symbol is pointing to the right? That's the side you're shading. You're making an arrow to the right. Now let's check our answer. Pick any number that's in that shaded area. I'm going to go ahead and pick 3. Is 3 greater than or equal to 0? I hope you're saying yes, it is greater than or equal to 0. So I know that I have shaded the correct side, okay? Real quick, let me show you what would happen if you shaded the wrong side. So let's say that you did your closed circle and then you shaded this side on accident. And then you were going to check your solution, and let's say that you picked a -3 instead. Is -3 greater than or equal to 0? No, it's not. So what that tells you is you have shaded the wrong side and you want to go back and shade the correct side. Let's do another example with our arrow trick this time. So let's say that we have n is greater than or equal to -4. So I'm going to put my circle on -4, and I'm going to look here. It should be a closed circle. Now my variable is on the left, and see how this inequality symbol is pointing to the right? That means I'm going to shade to the right. So you can use that trick. You can also use logic. You can say, well, if I read this, n is greater than or equal to -4. So I'm going to shade all the numbers that are greater than -4. Okay. Let's check our answer. I'm going to pick 1. 1 is in that shaded area. And I'm going to say, is 1 greater than or equal to -4? Hopefully you are saying yes, yes, 1 is greater than or equal to -4, okay? Because is it better to have $1 or be in debt $4? Okay, you have more money if you have $1 as opposed to being in debt $4, okay? So we know we've shaded the correct side. This is what our graph should look like. Okay, I'm gonna give you one to try on your own, okay? Let's do K is greater than -4. Okay, pause the video, graph it. Okay, hopefully you've graphed it. This is greater than, this is gonna be an open circle on -4 because it's not equal to -4. And it says that K is greater than -4. So I'm going to shade everything that's greater. I can also see that my variable's on the left side, so the inequality points in the direction I should be shading. Okay, so I'm shading everything that's greater than -4. So your graph should look like this. Make sure you've checked it too. I'm going to pick 2. So is 2 greater than or equal to -4? Yes. Okay, try another one. Let's do X is greater than or equal to 6. Okay, pause the video and graph it. Okay, you should have done a closed circle on 6. And the variable's on the left side, so see how my inequality is pointing to the right? That's the side I'm going to shade. And I'm just going to make sure. So this says that X is greater than or equal to 6. I did shade everything that was greater than it. And I'm going to check my answer too. I'm going to say is 8 greater than or equal to 6. That would be a yes. Yes, it is. Okay. Okay. Hopefully you have that down now. I hope you like that trick of making sure that you're shading the side that the arrow is pointing at. But I should warn you that not all inequalities are set up like that. So let me show you one that's not set up like that so you know what to do when you come across those. So let's say that you have 1 is greater than X. All right, here's my strategy. I like to rewrite these so that the variable is on the left side. Now when you do that, you're basically going to do the mirror image of it, okay? So X would go first. I'll do the mirror image of this, basically flipping that symbol the other way. And then the 1. Now make sure you've done it correctly, okay? Is the alligator still eating the 1? We can go back to elementary school here. If the mouth is open to the 1 here and it's open to the 1 here, you know that you have rewritten that equation or inequality correctly. So now we have flipped it and we know that it's equivalent because the mouth is still open to the 1. So I'm going to ignore this one now and I'm going to use this for my graphing. Now because this is not equal to, we're going to do an open circle on 1. And the way that my arrow is pointing, is to the left. So that's the side that I'm going to shade. You can also use logic here and say that x is less than 1. So you shade everything that's less than 1. Okay. I would double check my answer too. Is -2 less than 1? Yeah, it is. So I know I've done it correctly. Let me do another one like this with you, and then I'll have you try flipping the inequality on your own and graphing it. So let's try this one. -2 is less than or equal to m. Okay. Now the variable is not on the left. So I'm going to flip this. I'm going to do like a mirror image. So I wrote my m first instead of last, and then I'm going to flip the symbol, and then I'm going to write my -2. Now to be sure, the mouth is open to the m here. The mouth is open to the m here. So I know that I have flipped it correctly. So I'm going to ignore this now. And I'm going to put, this needs to be a closed circle because of that equal to line. And feel free to use that table that's in the top left corner. I'm going to fill in -2. And it says that m is greater than or equal to -2. So I'm going to shade this way. And you can see that the inequality symbol is also pointing that way. So there's a lot of value to flipping this around before you graph. It just reads better. We could say that m is greater than or equal to -2 instead of -2 is less than or equal to m. And we can use that inequality symbol to help us graph. Let's quickly check our answer. It doesn't matter what number that you use in the shaded area. I just pick something to check it. Okay, is 3 greater than or equal to -2? It sure is, so we know we've done it correctly. All right, I'm going to have you try a couple. All right, let's do -1 is less than, oops, sorry. Yeah, is less than or equal to n. All right, pause the video. I want you to flip this around so that the variable's on the left side and then graph it. All right, hopefully you've done this one. So I'm gonna flip it. I'm gonna do n first. I'm gonna do the mirror image of this symbol so that the mouth is still open to the n just like it is here. And write it like that. Double check, my mouth's open to n here, it's open to n here, so I know I flipped it correctly. And I'm going to use this now for my graphing. If I look at my chart, I can see that this symbol is going to be a closed circle. So I'm going to do a closed circle on -1, and I'm going to graph everything that is greater than -1. So we already know that 1's a solution, and everything that is greater than -1 is a solution. So my inequality symbol is pointing the same way as my arrow. I'm just going to pick something in the shaded region. Yeah, that's true. So we're good. Let's try another one. Let's do 5 is greater than v. Okay, pause the video and try this out. All right, let's go ahead and flip it. So I'm going to do it backwards. I'm going to start with v. I'm going to flip this symbol so that it is facing the other way, and then I'm going to write 5. Now let's double check and make sure we did this correctly. The mouth is open to 5 here. The mouth is open to 5 here. So I know that I have transferred or rewritten my inequality correctly. Okay, so 5 is v, is where we're going to put our circle. And if I look at my table up in the top left corner, I can see that that's going to be an open circle. Why is it open? Because 5 actually isn't a solution. It's everything that is less than 5 that's a solution. My inequality is pointing to the left, so I'm going to shade to the left. You can also read it too and just say V is less than 5, so you know that you're shading everything that's less than it. Pick a number in that shaded region to test. That is true, so I know I've shaded the correct side. All right, you guys, you have homework to do. You're gonna do it all on paper. I am gonna be collecting your homework tomorrow to make sure that you are doing it on paper. And then there's also an answer checker in Otis as well to make sure that you're doing it correctly. And then there's also a video, a Khan Academy video that I had in your lesson yesterday, but if you didn't get a chance to watch it, it's a good one for today too, because he also goes over graphing inequalities and you can use your whiteboard to help you with that. All right, guys, email me if you have any questions. Have a great day. Hope to see you tomorrow.